Wendy is at a facility doing her best to be her best. She's taking it day by day. People forget that she deals with grave disease.
They are lying, and he's claiming they're lying. They're signing her up for projects that she's not ready for, including a possible unscripted.
Here's something to consider. What happens when one of the sharpest tongues in the entertainment industry, Wendy Williams, seemingly finds herself silenced? Not just silenced, but caught in a storm of hospitalizations, desperate cries for help, and a guardianship she's described as nothing short of a prison. The story surrounding Wendy Williams has taken a surreal, tragic, and downright chilling turn. Picture this. Wendy Williams, once the queen of no-holds-barred daytime television, is reportedly seen waving her arms from a fifth-story window in New York City, clutching a handwritten note that simply reads, "Help Wendy." It's not the kind of headline you'd expect from someone who had recently ruled the airwaves with her unfiltered commentary and larger-than-life persona. Yet there it was, plastered across media outlets like something straight out of a movie. And just hours later, Wendy was escorted from her assisted living facility by several police officers and loaded into an ambulance for yet another hospital evaluation.
And welcome back to The Factor on new concerns over former TV show host Wendy Williams' well-being. Today, she was taken to a New York City hospital for an evaluation after sending out a message asking for help.
It's a scene that begs so many questions. Why, after years of fearlessly calling out Hollywood's biggest names, is Wendy Williams now resorting to throwing desperate notes out of windows? What was so urgent, so desperate, that she needed to communicate with the world in such a haunting way? The plot thickens when you realize this isn't a one-time event. Wendy has found herself caught in a high-stakes battle over nearly every aspect of her life. Her guardianship, her freedom, her finances, and even her ability to leave her home without permission. It's a saga that feels more like something straight out of a psychological thriller than a real-life story.
The last we saw, you were leaving with police officers going to the hospital.
I'm currently at the hospital.
You're currently at the hospital. What's going on there today?
Here's the deal. Wendy Williams has been under a court-ordered guardianship since 2022. A legal arrangement that has placed her finances and personal decisions in the hands of others. Her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, claims Wendy has been struggling with significant cognitive impairments, citing diagnoses like frontotemporal dementia and aphasia. But Wendy isn't buying it. She's publicly declared that she's mentally sound, insisting she's being held against her will, and calling her guardianship nothing short of a prison. She's gone on record saying she's not allowed to leave her assisted living facility, even comparing her situation to being confined to a memory unit floor, surrounded by individuals she believes are far worse off than she is. Why am I here? What is going on? She's publicly questioned, and honestly, that's what everyone wants to know.
I'm exhausted, you know what I'm saying? I am exhausted, and I wanted to go to the hospital to talk to the doctor, you know?
What's even more jaw-dropping is the timing of it all. Just as rumors were swirling that Wendy Williams was preparing for a comeback, possibly with an appearance on daytime TV's Asterisk, The View Asterisk, this dramatic incident unfolded. Coincidence? Maybe. But for a woman who built her career on exposing secrets and stirring the pot, it's hard not to question whether there's more to the story. Wendy's former show producer, Susan Bass, even teased Wendy's return with excitement, calling for her to be free in an Instagram post. Yet, instead of celebrating a triumphant return to the spotlight, we're left with images of Wendy being escorted into an ambulance, her face a blank canvas of exhaustion and silence.
Do this deal, and you hear somebody else say that she's losing memory, so how we know that she even knows that she's in the right frame of mind to even know what she's doing?
And then there's the note, the cryptic handwritten plea for help. What exactly was Wendy trying to communicate? Was it a message to her fans, a desperate call for intervention, or something more sinister? Perhaps a warning about forces working against her? After all, Wendy's guardianship has been shrouded in controversy from the very beginning. Her financial accounts were frozen by her bank, reportedly due to concerns about financial exploitation. While her guardian claims Wendy's cognitive impairments are severe, Wendy has adamantly denied those allegations, even going so far as to say she's passed competency tests with flying colors. She's had an independent doctor reportedly clear her of the mental impairments her guardianship is based on. Yet despite all of this, the guardianship remains in place, and Wendy remains trapped in what she describes as an unyielding nightmare.
Correct. She had those tests. She's been deemed she is not incapacitated.
A test with flying colors.
I know.
And I think it's great news, and it's public, and everybody knows, factually that Wendy's not incapacitated.
Adding fuel to the fire is Wendy's increasingly strained relationship with those around her. Her family, including her son Kevin Jr., has publicly expressed concerns about her situation, with some alleging that the guardianship has completely cut them off from Wendy. Then there's the curious case of Wendy's finances. Reports have emerged claiming that Wendy once had tens of millions in the bank, only for her guardian to later say there's no money left. Where did it all go? Who's accountable for the alleged depletion of her wealth? It's a financial mystery that's only deepened the public's fascination with her case.
Of course, a financial advisor. Of course, it's somebody to look after my money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
because
the money that I have right now is all with my guardian person.
Here's where things take a darker turn. Some believe that Wendy's guardianship and recent hospitalization could be part of a larger, more sinister plot to silence her. And if you've followed Wendy's career, you know she's no stranger to controversy. Over the years, she's made enemies in high places, calling out powerful figures for their alleged misdeeds, often with nothing more than a microphone and her signature, "How you doing?" catchphrase. One name that continues to surface in conversations about Wendy's current situation is none other than scene Diddy Combs.
Because she wanted to put up a picture of him getting his pants pulled down.
It's no secret that Wendy and Diddy have a complicated history. Back in the 90s, Wendy famously accused Diddy of misconduct, a move that allegedly cost her her job at the time. Over the years, she's continued to hint at the secrets she claims to know about the music mogul, secrets that, according to reports, made her a target in the industry. Fast forward to today, and Diddy himself is facing a tidal wave of legal troubles, with accusations stacking up against him like a house of cards. Could Wendy's hospitalization and guardianship be connected to her knowledge of Diddy's alleged wrongdoings? Is it possible she holds the key to exposing something, or someone, that certain individuals would rather keep hidden?
I seen him do it before. I seen him even tell people on the phone before, like he did Wendy Williams.
It's hard to ignore the striking parallels between Wendy's cries for help and her career-long mission to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. While there's no concrete evidence linking Diddy's current legal troubles to Wendy's situation, the timing alone is enough to raise questions. Could it be that Wendy, who once prided herself on knowing everyone's secrets, has become a victim of her own fearless pursuit of the truth? Or is this simply a tragic case of a once vibrant personality succumbing to health struggles beyond her control? What's clear is that Wendy's story is far from over. Her hospitalization is just the latest chapter in a saga that's as complicated as it is heartbreaking. As questions swirl about her guardianship, her finances, and her connections to powerful figures like Diddy, one thing remains certain. Wendy Williams is not someone who fades into the background. Whether through her own words or the actions of those fighting on her behalf, the truth about what's really happening behind closed doors is bound to come to light. The only question is, will it be too late?
So 2 police showed up where I was, at the coterie. And so I was telling them, the same. And the next thing you know, there are 2 more police. So there are 4 in total. And I was talking with Gina, and saying, go ahead, Gina.
As the narrative shifts from Wendy's desperate plea for help to the broader context of her personal and professional battles, it's impossible not to wonder, how did things go so wrong for the woman who once seemed untouchable? And what role, if any, do her past conflicts with Diddy and other high-profile figures play in her current situation? So let's address the elephant in the room. Seeing Diddy Combs, the music mogul, the bad boy kingpin, and let's face it, one of the most polarizing figures in the entertainment industry. Why does his name keep popping up when we talk about Wendy Williams and her predicament? It's not just coincidence, is it? There's a history here, a tangled web of animosity, alleged sabotage, and whispered secrets that can't be ignored. So buckle up, because this is where things get even messier.
And she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full circle.
For years, Wendy Williams has had no problem speaking her mind about Diddy. And let's just say it hasn't exactly earned her a spot on his Christmas card list. Their bad blood dates back to the height of Wendy's radio career in the 90s.
When she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down, and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone.
Let's rewind to 1998, when Wendy was working at Hot 97 in New York City. According to rumors that have swirled for decades, Diddy, then riding high as the founder of Bad Boy Records, allegedly played a role in getting Wendy fired. Why? Because she dared to say things on air that others wouldn't even whisper in private. Wendy hinted at secrets about Diddy's personal life and business dealings, and let's just say he wasn't thrilled about it. In fact, it's been said that Diddy used his influence in the industry to put pressure on the station executives, essentially forcing them to let Wendy go. Whether that's true or not, the timing was suspicious. Wendy was gone from Hot 97 in the blink of an eye, and she didn't exactly leave quietly.
Tell you this, when I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station, he's talking to a radio executive.
But let's not forget, Wendy wasn't the only one who seemed to know too much about Diddy during that time. Rumors were swirling about his alleged control over the music industry, and whispers suggested he had a knack for making problems, or people, disappear when they became inconvenient. Several insiders claimed that Wendy's firing wasn't just about protecting Diddy's image. It was about sending a message to anyone else who might consider spilling industry secrets. And let's face it, Wendy wasn't exactly the type to take a hint and stay quiet. Instead, she doubled down. Being forced out of Hot 97 may have closed one door, but it flung open several others, solidifying her reputation as someone who couldn't be silenced, no matter the cost.
He said, nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is gonna do anything with y'all, no business at all.
What makes this even more intriguing is that Wendy wasn't just speculating, she claimed to have receipts. Over the years, she hinted that she had information and sources that could blow the lid off Diddy's carefully constructed empire. Whether it was financial dealings or personal relationships, Wendy made it clear that she was sitting on a treasure trove of knowledge that could seriously rattle some cages. And while she didn't always name names, her cryptic comments were enough to make waves. Could it be that her willingness to speak out is what put her in the crosshairs? Not just back then, but even now. Is the same fear of exposure that allegedly led to her firing still haunting her to this day?
When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly at a new station.
And speaking of cost, let's not forget that Wendy's boldness has come with its fair share of consequences. Over the years, she's made plenty of enemies, And some have speculated that her current troubles, her guardianship, financial woes, and even her hospitalization could be tied to her past feuds. Could Diddy or those within his orbit have a role in what's happening to her now? It's a question that's hard to ignore, especially considering the timing of everything.
Is he this gangster that behind the scenes is that him? Or is that
Shout out to Wendy Williams.
Let's talk about Diddy's legal troubles for a moment, because they're impossible to ignore. In recent years, accusations against him have piled up like an endless stack of tabloids, ranging from allegations of misconduct to claims of exploitation, and the list goes on. While Diddy has denied many of these allegations, the sheer volume of accusations cannot be overlooked.
And then what's the stuff that's happening with Wendy Williams? Do you think this is all connection to?
Of course.
The volume of accusations against Diddy has raised more than a few eyebrows. It's a situation eerily reminiscent of other powerful figures who faced a reckoning after years of whispers and rumors. And guess who's been one of the loudest voices warning about Diddy's behavior for decades? That's right, Wendy Williams. Wendy has never been afraid to call out Diddy's alleged actions, even when others stayed silent. She's spoken candidly about his so-called freak-offs, his relationships, and his business dealings, with a level of honesty that's rare in the entertainment world. While some dismissed her as a sensationalist, others saw her as a whistleblower, someone willing to speak truth to power, no matter the backlash. But here's the thing about speaking truth to power: it makes you a target. Wendy knows this better than anyone. Over the years, she's faced lawsuits, threats, and smear campaigns, some of which she's openly attributed to her enemies in the industry. While she's always managed to bounce back, her current situation feels different. The guardianship, the hospitalization, the claims that she's incapacitated, it all feels like part of a larger narrative, one that's being controlled by forces beyond her reach.
He accuses her handlers of taking advantage of her wealth, fame, and inability to make a proper decision. He believes her team is ignoring her mental and physical health.
And that brings us back to Diddy. Is it possible that Wendy's current struggles are connected to her past conflicts with him? Could she be paying the price for knowing too much about one of the most powerful men in music? Or is this just a tragic coincidence? A case of health issues and legal battles spiraling out of control. The truth is, we don't know. But what we do know is that Wendy's story isn't over, not by a long shot. As we dive deeper into this tangled web, one thing becomes clear. Wendy Williams and Diddy are two sides of the same coin. Both have built their careers on commanding attention, controlling narratives, and refusing to back down. But while Diddy has thrived by keeping his secrets close, Wendy has built her empire by exposing them. It's a dynamic as fascinating as it is explosive, and one that continues to play out in real time.